All right, y'all. What's up? Good morning. Good. Well, it's good afternoon. It's what time is it? 1:13. Today is Saturday, February 28th, 2025. The podcast was sold. Gonna be publishing The Stigmatism in My Soul. Myself, Sean Xavier Gumby Jr., and my son, Sean Xavier. Myself, Sean Xavier Gumby Sr., and my son, Sean Xavier Gumby Jr. We do not wish to defame, slander, libel, or hurt anybody in terms of the topic of what we're talking about, the content of this video. Everything that I'm going to be discussing is actual court documents that can be found online or that are made publicly available through PACER. All right, so I want to set the tone with that. Second thing, let's get right to it. Please, if you want to listen to this on Spotify, go to Spotify. The podcast was sold on Spotify. I am on Spotify and I am uploading these episodes on Spotify. Also, go follow me on my Instagram, same name, the podcast was sold. All right, so today I'm going to deal with CUFFY's attorney, Joanne Trog, Mrs. Trog. She's out of Kirkwood, Missouri. She is cross-examining Jack Harvey, former DEA agent Jack Harvey. This is taken from the redacted transcript excerpt of Volume 2 of the Franks hearing, dated April 18th, 2016. United States of America versus Dion Lamont Gatlin, also known to y'all as CUFFY. So, yesterday we did the attorney was Herman. He cross-examined Jack Harvey. Today we're going to do CUFFY's attorney, Mrs. Trog. She is cross-examining Jack Harvey. Right off the bat, she comes out. She says, first of all, she goes right to the Terry White case, right? And in this questioning of Jack Harvey, former DEA Jack Harvey on the stand, that we all know that Jack Harvey pretty much had his name as the special agent in charge of bringing down and bringing indictments to damn near all of the members of BMF. This is the agent that Tammy Cowens, for whatever reason, we don't know why, this is the one she chose to go to. Now, right off the bat, and I'm going to read from this, but I'm just going to go off the top of the dome based upon what I read here, and everything I'm saying is going to be pretty accurate. She asked Jack Harvey about the Terry White case and her credibility. And remember, in an old video I did maybe last week or a few weeks ago, I did like 20-something videos where Tammy Cowan says that she left some jewelry in Terry White's case that may have gotten seized in the raid on Terry White's case. Then, this is what she said, right? This is Tammy Cowan, so you could take that for what it's worth. But Joanne Trog deals with that. She deals with her credibility. And then she also goes in depth with dates concerning Tammy Cowens, when Jack Harvey met Tammy Cowens, 2008, 2009. Jack Harvey retires in 2011. All the while, Tammy Cowens is working with Jack Harvey to set up Terry White. She's not asking for no money. She's not asking for no compensation. And Jack Harvey just seems to feel, based upon what Tammy Cowens said, that, she felt like a dummy. These are his words, that he used her to launder money or whatever the case may be, use her credit cards to buy stuff and get whatever. I don't know the whole situation to that. Um, and, she pretty much just did it for that reason. But Cuffy's lawyer, isn't buying that. You know, she is on Jack Harvey in terms of after you retired in 2011, what was it, July 2011, you didn't have no more contact with Tammy Cowens until February 2013, right? Now that's a key date because that's the date that I think Cuffy gets busted, right? And when it's going down, when Cuffy gets busted, right? This is when they find out that, make sure my tie's straight, that Tammy Cowens is CS1. She's the informant and she starts receiving threats. So she runs to Jack Harvey to kind of save her and protect her, right? It appears. Joanne Trog also Cuffy's lawyer also goes into, after in February 2013, when she reaches back out to Jack Harvey, she's kind of, hitting at things, but ain't coming flat out with it, whatever it's supposed to be, whatever she's feeling. But she does mention that, these agents, plural, these agents, not one particular agent, not just Keith Cromer by himself, but these agents are not like you, and I don't trust any of them, right? So it's plural. I think that's an important fact, but I don't want to speculate and get into guesswork and conjecture of what I think it may be. I want to come straight from the facts. And Harvey addresses that, and then they talk about the affair and that kind of thing. But let's get into it. Joanne Trog, Cuffy's lawyer. Mr. Harvey, I would like to direct your attention in the beginning for my beginning questions, and they will be brief in regards to the Terry White case. I believe you testified, sir, that CS1 or Tammy Cowens in that case was also the CS1 in this case. Is that correct? Jack Harvey, correct. And I believe you characterized her as being the heart and soul of that case. This is page 16 of 74. This is a 74-page document. I'm coming from page 16 of 74. I believe you characterized Tammy Cowens as being the heart and soul of that case. That's correct. Cuffy's lawyer. And sir, please correct me if I'm wrong. That case involved money laundering and drugs. Jack Harvey, yes it did. Cuffy's lawyer. But Tammy Cowens didn't know anything about drugs or the drug culture. Would that be a fair statement? Jack Harvey. Very little about it, I would say, correct. Joanne Trog. Would it be fair? Would it be a fair statement to say that, and I believe this is what you testified to, sir, is she didn't do drugs? That's correct. Ms. Trog. She had little knowledge, if any knowledge, of the drug culture. Jack Harvey. Well, she had a tough upbringing, and her husband turned out to be a crack addict. And she had some familiarity with the dangers of drugs. But I didn't think she didn't strike me as someone who could play the role of a drug trafficker or someone with a real knowledge of drug trafficking, no. Correct, Joanne Trog. She didn't know about distribution plans, about purchasing drugs. Perhaps her best knowledge was the effect of drugs on her husband. Jack Harvey, yes, she was anti-drug, and Terry White knew that. That's why it was such a painstaking process to get Terry White to talk with her. He would just do it to occasionally boast his drug business, to brag about his drug business and how smart he was and how successful he was monetarily. Joanne Trog. Now, with regards to money, you testified, sir, that Tammy Cowens never asked to be paid. And I'm not trying to mischaracterize your testimony. I just want to make sure, well, I'll withdraw that question. Let me ask it better. Cuffy's lawyer mean no. Joanne Trog. Did Tammy Cowens ever request any payment with regards to her work in the Terry White case? Jack Harvey. No. And to my knowledge, she may not even have known that informants can get paid. But I was the one who brought up the subject, and it was more than a year after I had first encountered her and first debriefed her. Joanne Trog, you indicated that the forfeiture amount was around $50,000 and included, among other things, jewelry. Jack Harvey, I don't think I said a dollar figure, but yeah, we had seized jewelry and real estate, and in one of the pieces of real estate, there was a substantial amount of equity. So they were awaiting, the process of forfeiture can be pretty slow. Trog, Cuffy's lawyer. Was any of that jewelry seized or claimed to be owned by Tammy Cowens? This is the key part, y'all. Jack Harvey. I do not remember that. Now remember, Tammy Cowens testified in her testimony under cross-examination. It could have been by Welby or it could have been by Humphrey that, she told them that she had jewelry in there, that was her jewelry, that Terry White didn't buy, that was her jewelry. I do not remember that, but just recently, she told me, Tammy Cowens, about that and said that I should have remembered it, but I did not remember that. That she had told me some of the jewelry that was seized from White was actually jewelry that belonged to her and that had not been gifted to her by Terry White, that it was her own jewelry. And that she said she had asked me if she could get it returned to her. I do not remember that. And I think I would have made some effort to return it to her. But anyway, we do not have a similar memory of that jewelry, meaning Jack Harvey and Tammy Cowens do not have a similar memory of that jewelry. Trog, did you find it odd, sir, that she never sought payment based on your experience? Jack Harvey, no, not especially. I knew her motivation was not money. Trog, and what was that motivation? Jack Harvey, I think it was just that she thought that White had treated her like a dummy, and she wanted to outsmart Terry White. Terry White was a very braggadocious guy with a bad record of drugs and violence. I don't even know if she knew about his violent background. And she was a little afraid of him. I had told her, don't go near him. Usually, I would tell an informant, get up close to him. With her, I said, stay away from him. We'll just do these phone calls and see if these phone calls work out. And I knew that she wasn't seeing him because the content of the calls, he would say to her, hey, how come I never get to see you? I never see you. And she would give him all these excuses. And it was an unusual relationship. I mean, he did have other women that he would, talk to her about problems he was having with his common law wife, different girlfriends, family. They would talk about religion. They would talk about fashion, working out, diet, all kinds of subjects. And they would eventually get around to talking about his money-making business, which was drugs. Now, this is key part right here. And I'm going to play some audio for you. Joanne Trog. Okay, now you met her in about 2008, sir. Is that correct? Jack Harvey. Yes, April of 2008. Jack Harvey first meets Tammy Cowens in April of 2008. When you initially reached out to Tammy, you was just interested in the movie joint.
Yeah, Meeks put me with Tammy back around 08, 09. And this is strictly dealing with the movie. This call was from a federal prison. My job was to come up with the movie script and find a motion picture house to take the deal.
So this is the same time that CUFFY is introduced to Tammy by Big Meech. And recognize that CUFFY talks about the movie. When Meech puts him in touch with Tammy, CUFFY is on the movie tip. Right? And this is supported by what CUFFY's lawyer is asking Jack Harvey, we just went over. The CUFFY's lawyer is asking, but this girl doesn't know nothing about drugs. She doesn't, and Harvey's like, no, she don't know nothing about the drug business. She know nothing about distribution. So this is important, right? And it's supporting CUFFY's argument that when he first reached out, it was only about the movie. Now, in the Franks hearing, under her cross-examination, I don't know who it was, with Welby or Humphrey or Herman, they ask her, like, when did the conversation turn from the movie deal to narcotics? Stay with me. Trog, and you had contact with her until your retirement, until July 31st of 2011. So Jack Harvey is in contact with Tammy Cowens from April 2008, April 2009, April 2010, April 2011, May, June, July. 39 months, 3 years, 3 months. Yeah, my contact with her was constant during the period of phone calls, which was September 08 until June of 09. Then he was taken down. Terry White was taken down. And then, yeah, we did have more contact while the case was proceeding through litigation, but it was less. And my contact with her toward the very end was pretty sporadic. Joanne Trog. Would it be an appropriate characterization that after the Terry White case was finished, Tammy Cowens was kept on as activated so that this award could be processed? This award could... Jack Harvey, yep, that's what I thought, yes. Trog, were you aware of the times that you spent with her that she was experiencing financial difficulties? Tammy Cowens? Jack Harvey, yes, she would tell me that her credit was up and down, not always good. She always worked, had a pretty good white-collar job, but, she had expenses. She was responsible for the financial care of her mother and her daughter. Okay, Joanne Trog, okay, after your retirement in June 2011, other than perhaps this one phone call, your next contact with Tammy Cowens was about February 2013. Jack Harvey, that is correct. That was my first contact since pre-retirement, was February 2013. You ain't heard, when was the last time you spoke to him, man?
The last time I spoke to this brother, man, and we go back 30 plus years, just to communicate that to the audience. 30 plus years, homie. The last time I talked to this nigga, homie, was when he put me with them people, you understand? When he told me Tammy gonna be calling me, early 2013, homie.
And then you reached out to him, and when did you find out Tammy was no good? At the Franks hearing?
No, as soon as the sting went down, I found out that she was no good. I didn't know his role. So immediately my attorney, immediately after the sting, my attorney said to just to communicate that to the audience. 30 plus years on me.
you reached out. Joanne Trog, CUFFY's lawyer. After your retirement in July of 2011, other than maybe perhaps this one phone call, your next contact with her was in about February 2013. That's correct. That was my first contact since pre-retirement. It was February 2013. Joanne Trog, CUFFY's lawyer. And I believe you characterized that call, sir, as you felt that she maybe wanted to tell you some things, but she didn't tell you anything then. Jack Harvey, yes. Looking back, she was hinting around that things weren't right. But I took it as, I think I said it in my OIG interview, Office of Inspector General. I took it as a child playing one parent against another. This is Jack Harvey. I thought that's what she was doing. Other informants have done that. They'll complain to me about another agent, and I assume they probably complained to that other agent about me. This is the key point, y'all. Listen. So she was making specific complaints against Agent Cromer at that time? Jack Harvey, no specifics. And she would always say plural. These other agents, these guys. She never ever zeroed in on the fact that it was just one agent until that 15 months later. Joanne Trog. Okay. During this February conversation, she was complaining about money being paid to her or not being paid to her. Jack Harvey. Yes. She was mad about the delay in payments. She had a different attitude by then. She was a lot more money conscious because she had been told this money is coming. So now she was really hoping for it and expecting it. Joanne Trog. But she never referred to anything specific about specific payments. She was still looking for this award. I think by February of 2013, I think she had been paid something by then, but I don't know. But I believe, I'm just going by my OIG interview where they showed me paperwork that I thought she was starting to get paid. The question is, when did she receive that award? Jack Harvey put that award in for her right before he retired in 2011. I've probably read when she did receive the first award, probably when she was being cross-examined by Welby, Herman, or Humphrey. But I'm not gonna go look through all them dates. Y'all do it and look at it and put it in the comment section. So, what payments is she talking about? Is she talking about the award, which I don't think it is, because Jack Harvey says I think she had already got the award. But these other payments, she's complaining that she's not getting them, right? I don't believe nothing that Tammy Cowens has said. But I gotta do Keith Cromer's cross-examination. I'm doing Keith Cromer's cross-examination, his frank hearing, after I do Jack Harvey. I'm gonna do Keith Cromer. But she's such a liar. I don't believe that her story that they told her she would be dealing with Hispanics, that whole story she told, I don't believe that after she starts receiving threats that she goes to see Big Meech, and he tells her, just keep my name out of this mess. I don't believe none of that, because all of that's her account. All of that's her divulging information, and none of it, her credibility is in the trash can. Joanne Trog, here, let me stop you, okay? After that brief conversation in February 2013, you did not have any other contact with her until May 10th, 2014. February 2013. So 15 months goes by before she hears, 15 months goes by before Jack Harvey hears from Tammy Cowens again. After after February 2013, when CUFFY gets busted in the sting, when she calls up Jack Harvey, kind of beating around the bush, you know what I'm saying? Shit ain't right in her soul, shit ain't right on her heart, shit ain't right in her dome. She ain't feeling right, but she just can't come out and tell him just yet. 15 months go by, he gets back in touch with her. She calls him. Yes, it was sporadic, but we talked during the course of 2013, maybe 5 or 6 times, maybe. It was not about any hints about agent misconduct or anything like that. Jack Harvey, yes. It was not about any hints about agent misconduct or anything like that until she returned to that subject in April of 2014. So, okay. Did she indicate how her personal life was going, sir? Did she make any comments about that? Nothing that I remember. Nothing particularly good or bad as far as her personal life. That was Jack Harvey. Trog. Then we come to the call on May 10, 2014. Harvey, yes. Joanne Trog. And that's when the flood doors open. That's my characterization. Nobody else is here. I'm saying this. But where she was very candid with you about what was going on. Jack Harvey, yes. She actually, going back to the call 10 days before that, she did tell me that there was a sexual relationship. I didn't know with whom. I didn't know if it was with one or more agents. Page 23 of 74. And I didn't press her. I just thought that she wasn't really ready to open up. But I said, we're going to talk again. And she said, okay. And when she got back from her trip, she didn't call me, so I called her. But she was expecting my call. And did she come to see you, sir? Or was this all via phone call? No, it was all over the phone. I never saw her in person between whenever the last time I was on the job in 2011 with the last 90-day debriefing we did until I think it was earlier this year in 2016 when they passed each other in the hallway at the OIG meeting. Then they talk about him taking notes about their interactions, their phone conversations. And Joanne Trog. May I ask you why you started keeping notes? Like whenever Jack Harvey would talk to Tammy Cowens, he would write notes down. And he says it in here. Out of 10 sentences, she would tell me, I would write 1 sentence, but capturing like the meat of what she was saying. And I would keep these notes that this was my practice that I developed in my formal years of being a DEA agent. You know, this is what I've always done. And Joanne Trog asks him, may I ask you why you started keeping these notes in March of 2015? There's something going on in 2015. Just a habit of mine, Jack Harvey, just a habit of mine that when I'm talking to an informant, I still considered her an informant. I would just try to keep up with all the stuff she's telling me and I would jot it down. And I knew in March of 2015 that it was important stuff. I knew because she had emailed me, which was, she sent me a copy. It was about 18 pages of something called the government's response to defense request or motion to suppress Title III intercepts. And so I read it and I could see that it looked like, based on what she had told me previously, that she, Tammy White, who was pretty much at the centerpiece of that litigation. So Tammy Cowens faxes him or sent him a copy of the 18-page government's response. I haven't gone over there yet. I got that. I got to do that now. This is the government's response to CUFFY's motion to suppress the wiretaps. Joanne Trog. She's asking him about his notes that he's taken. Okay, with regards to any information that was contained on those notes, did you do any independent investigation, Mr. Harvey? Jack Harvey, no, I was a retired agent. I wasn't passing the information on to anybody. I assumed that she was passing on this information through official channels as well. And I would ask her that. Well, you've told these other agents about the threats and stuff, haven't you? This is Jack Harvey asking Tammy Cowens. Well, you've told these other agents about these threats and stuff, haven't you? And she told me she had. So she was sort of just unloading onto me, sort of. I guess someone that she knew her and knew about situations like this, although I didn't specifically know a lot about the case in St. Louis. CUFFY's lawyer, Trog. Okay. When there was a statement in the note that reference was made to an affidavit of Mr. Cromer's that was thrown out, did you have any knowledge of that, sir? She had told me about that, and I think I had heard about it from other agents, not many details, but that a case had been lost or dismissed in Atlanta. Now, remember when I made that mistake the other day? Remember when I said that my phone conversation with Cromer where he said the Northern District of Georgia doesn't do third-party cooperation? You know, maybe it wasn't a mistake based upon what we just read. And now I'm going back to transcript of Frank's hearing dated October 17, 2016. Check me out. Page 5 of 271. First, the fact that DEA agents from Atlanta, Georgia, who were involved in the investigation of Dion Gatlin or CUFFY were or are being investigated by the DEA Office of Professional Responsibility for Professional Violations of DEA Standards of Conduct. So here, the fact that DEA agents from Atlanta, Georgia, who were involved in the investigation of CUFFY. So me having read all of this stuff and me knowing that Cromer is based out of Atlanta, knowing that Tammy Cowens lives in Atlanta, that's where I had thought that the initial affidavit was, and my thinking was that if it was done in Georgia, which it wasn't, if it was done in Georgia, in the Northern District of Georgia, and it was their policy, specifically in the Northern District of Georgia, not to do third-party cooperation, I was thinking that then there's no third-party agreement, that a co-conspirator with CUFFY, because Demetrius Flint, Big Meech, is a co-conspirator on CUFFY's case, right? And I think Tammy Cowens is a co-conspirator on that case, right? Let me take that Tammy Cowens thing back. But CUFFY told me that Big Meech is a co-conspirator, an unindicted co-conspirator on his case. So then a person who's an unindicted co-conspirator just tells everything, right? There's no need for a third party, nothing. They just tell anything, right? But that was my thinking. That is, forget that being factual or anything like that. But check this part out, what I just read. This is page 26 to 74. And that's where I got that from. That's what made me think that. Joanne Trog, when there was a statement in the notes that reference was made to an affidavit of Mr. Cromer's, the affidavit Mr. Cromer did that was thrown out, did you have any knowledge of that, sir? Jack Harvey, she had told me about it, and I think I had heard about it from other agents. Not many details, but that a case had been lost or dismissed in Atlanta. Do you have any idea of the name of the case, sir? Jack Harvey, no, I don't. Joanne Trog, during the note-taking that you had in your conversations with Tammy Cowens, did she portray the ending of her relationship with Keith Cromer as less than amicable? Jack Harvey, yes. Yes, there was. It wasn't one big blow-up. I don't think from what she said, but they know. Actually, I think that they were at least, and that he was still pursuing her to some extent. The reason I remember that is because the day after the May 10th conversation was May 11th. It was a Sunday. It was Mother's Day. And Tammy Cowens texted me that Keith Cromer had just texted her, Happy Mother's Day. So, and she did not respond to that. Now, this is all Tammy Cowens telling him. Do you recall any statements that were conveyed by her that Mr. Cromer was stalking or harassing her? This is Trog. Jack Cromer, she did say that was going on. She did say that was going on, yes. Trog, and that she feared for her safety? Jack Harvey, she did say that. Trog, and that she had reported this information to other agents involved in the investigation. Did she report this information to other agents involved in the investigation? Did she report this information to other agents involved in the investigation? Jack Harvey, that I don't know. And she also told me that he was never physically violent toward her and that, but she was concerned. And I think she said her father had told her, you got to be careful with the guy who, carries a gun for a living, something to that effect. That's it. So, that's it. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I may do a video tomorrow. If I don't do a video tomorrow, because there's two more attorneys that cross-examine Jack Harvey. I'm going to do them both. So I may do a video tomorrow, I may not. But thank y'all. And I'm going to holler at y'all later. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Please share this video. Free CUFFY. Peace.